Let's speak with Andrew Gilligan, Senior Fellow at the Policy Exchange and one of the authors of this report. Good afternoon to you, Andrew. Nice to have you with us
Hello.
again. I mean, yes, this has been said. There was a Labour MP, I think it was, stood up a little while ago, a few weeks ago perhaps, in the House of Commons, talking about, we need a very special case for Islamophobia to be determined as a very specific law. I thought that was sort of breathtakingly off to hear that, if for no other reason, putting aside the horrors of grooming gangs, the idea that you would sort of hypothecate one faith is a little extraordinary to me, but it becomes an even more serious point when you set it against these stories of grooming gangs and the like, where we really do now know that shouting Islamophobia was enough for some people to put the handbrake on.
Absolutely right. And let's start by being absolutely clear. Anti-Muslim hatred, violence, discrimination is wrong, but it's already illegal. There's already laws against all of that. Yeah. And what the Islamophobia people are asking for is an extra protection just for Muslims, special treatment for Muslims only. And we have in this country, the government's always been keen to deny that we have two-tier policing in this country. But actually, if they go ahead with any kind of Islamophobia definition, what they are effectively doing is officially adopting two-tier policing and two-tier policy. Yeah. Because this will be special. This will mean that Muslims have greater protection than anybody else. That they're absolutely already protected under all the normal laws against hatred, discrimination, which apply to people of all religions.
And in terms of what happened with grooming gangs, I mean, there's obviously been some inquiries and there are more to come. But we've known for a long time, and this is more than just anecdotal evidence. I think was there a counsellor or a social worker that was sent on a race awareness course because they raised the issue that there might well be a correlation between a certain group of men with some commonality in their backstories, with religion, country of origin, whatever it happened to be. So we've known for a while that there has been an issue here, and we know for a while that people have been told to shut up, whether it's police, politicians, local councillors or social workers, if they dare go there. I mean, if that isn't a straightforward case of someone trying to, play a card, I don't know what is.
Absolutely right. And we shouldn't forget that the MP for Rotherham, Sarah Champion, who has been very strong on this issue about standing up for victims of sexual violence in her own constituency, she was nominated, shortlisted for the Islamophobe of the Year award by a Muslim pressure group. And so too was Louise Casey, who wrote one of those official reports that you mentioned, one of the reports into the grooming scandal in Rotherham. They were both described as Islamophobes by a major Muslim pressure group for revealing, for acting on facts which were by then in absolutely no dispute, by the way. Another couple of councillors were forced to resign after the Casey report. Yep. After it found that they had council staff felt that they'd suppressed discussion for fear of upsetting community relations. And another of the revelations in our report today is that a relative of one of those councillors was involved in the report which drew up the Islamophobia definition. Yes. And that's actually that same guy, the relative of one of the councillors, also led a boycott of the police in Rotherham. He's from Rotherham himself as well. He led a boycott of the police in Rotherham after what he described as their pushing the pernicious lie, suggesting that they didn't make arrests for the grooming scandal because of fears of being called racist. Yeah. And this is one of the people involved in actually drawing up the Islamophobia definition. So there's real links here that people should be aware of.
And the government, of course, do tend to tiptoe around this still, don't they? Rather than kind of calling this out and being, maybe just, quite clear of what is going on. As you say, there are some exceptions of some MPs with limited success in many respects in getting this out there, but there is still a very, and with Starmer, I don't think we heard anything particularly robust on this point the last time he responded.
No, I'm worried about where they're going. So I think later this week, probably on Friday, we're expecting them to announce what's called an Islamophobia Council, and I think one of its purposes is going to be to come up with some kind of Islamophobia definition that the government can then officially adopt. And bluntly, any definition, as I say, would be a bad idea for the reasons I said already. But it's particularly concerning because we believe that the chair of this Islamophobia Council that they're going to announce is going to be Dominic Grieve, who is very closely associated with support for the Islamophobia definition pushed by the official report that we're talking about. So I just think they're obviously heading in the wrong way, and this isn't something that should be treated as a partisan issue by the government. It should be treated as an issue in which they need to get cross-party support, and there's deep cross-party alarm, and there's alarm within some parts of the Labour Party about doing this, because it absolutely won't help Muslims. It'll make matters worse for Muslims. It'll create social tensions, and it'll create exactly the kind of thing, two-tier policing, two-tier policy that the government is at pains to say it doesn't practice.
Indeed. Andrew, listen, thank you for highlighting this, and we'll watch with interest how this story moves on. But thank you, Andrew Gilligan, Senior Fellow at the Policy Exchange on